Hello, all of our business owners and entrepreneurs, to today's presentation on business and personal credit, brought to you by Credit DMS and MyCorporation. My name is Michael Stinson. I'm the General Manager of Credit DMS, and I'm here with our VP of Channel Development, Mr. Brad Lewis.
Thank you for joining us.
Today we're going to talk about business credit, how it's related to personal credit, and how you can access credit and capital for your business. So without further ado, let's jump in.
So the scope of today's presentation will be to give a broad overview of the business lending environment. We'll discuss briefly the historical trends of the business banking industry, obviously how things are actually transpiring out there in today's environment, including the various business credit bureaus that exist, and most importantly, we'll discuss how our services can help your business meet its goals and objectives.
To get us started, we just want to set a framework of who we are. Credit DMS is a company that works with entrepreneurs and individuals. We offer business credit solutions, including business credit development and helping you access funding from banks. To further assist our entrepreneurs, we've also developed a program to help optimize and improve your personal credit, because we at Credit DMS realize that your personal credit is equally as important as your business credit when going to qualify for lending. So overall, our objective is to give you real solutions, real results, and things that can be effective for you regardless of your industry, regardless of your situation. Our goal is to help you get as bankable as possible and help you rebuild your life, optimize your credit, and take you where you want to be in business.
At Credit DMS, our clients consist of really all types of businesses. So whether you're a retail store, if your company is internet-based, if you're a wholesaler, manufacturer, and virtually you can be based anywhere in the USA to qualify for the services that we're about to discuss. All right, so now that we've got some of the sort of disclaimer materials out of the way, let's jump in and discuss what really business credit is comprised of. One definition of business credit is simply a product of business credit rating that functions similar to your personal credit, except that it's attached to your business entity and not you as an individual. In other words, we're replacing a tax ID number as opposed to a social security number in many cases on an application. So unlike your personal credit score though, your business credit score is not automatically generated. If you recall, if you're anything like how my personal credit was built over time, my very first credit line was a gas credit card, a credit card issued by some gas station. And naturally, 6 months or so later, I noticed that I started to receive all of these offers in the mail, pre-approvals and such. Unfortunately, your business credit file requires some effort for your company to even appear on the radar of the business credit rating bureaus. These are areas that Credit DMS specializes in. Most businesses, believe it or not, have no credit score at all. These can be businesses that have been around for several years and just haven't taken a proactive approach toward actually building the foundation of their business credit profile. And the ability to borrow for your business in the name of your business is our key focus as we work with your company throughout our consultation. So the focus of business credit is to provide your company the financial tools and resources it needs through your business entity. And there's two primary types of business credit. Those are cash credit, such as revolving credit lines, bank loans, and business credit cards. And the other is supplier credit, and that's comprised of vendor accounts, shipping accounts, and company gas cards. So as entrepreneurs, you already recognize that there are many benefits of owning a business, right? The tax write-offs and various other perks such as flexible time schedules and many things that we enjoy as entrepreneurs. Well, the benefits of business credit in particular are granting you the ability to make separation between your personal and your business liabilities. So, for example, on your personal credit lines, you're probably aware that there's an adverse effect on your credit score or your FICO score when your personal credit balances are high, right? Well, this is not so in the world of business credit. Imagine hearing your neighbor brag about his low mortgage interest rate, and you go to refinance your home, but you're told by a mortgage broker that you don't qualify for that rate because your personal credit line balances are too high. And in reality, you realize that those credit lines are only high because you're an entrepreneur. You took a risk and you maybe took a cash advance against your personal credit card, or you extended your home equity line so far that you had to use some of that capital to buy furniture or some equipment for your business. Well, the ideal world of business credit development enables you to borrow money in the name of your business exclusively in the name of your business, and not including yourself or your personal credit score. Now, we've talked about some examples already, but here are other examples of business credit which can be immensely beneficial to you as a business owner. Things like credit equipment leasing, business credit cards, merchant cash advances, an auto lease in the company's name, or what we call BLOCs, or blocks, such as a business line of credit. So borrowing capital exclusively in the name of your business can be extremely powerful, and this is the ultimate goal that we strive for.
One of the most important parts of understanding business credit is getting rid of the misconceptions and the myths surrounding business credit itself. Unfortunately, a lot of participants in this industry still are marketing using references and claims that were popular back in 2005 when money was free and the requirements for lending were much less strict. However, in today's lending environment, it is entirely the opposite. So one of the things that you'll hear a lot in this business still, unfortunately, are misconceptions. One of the most prevalent is that you can get $100,000 in funding with no personal guarantee. Anyone who offers to give you money with no personal guarantee in this environment is not giving you an accurate representation of how business credit works. Because lending in general, any business credit lending, will require that a personal guarantee is involved in the loan application process. Now, this does not mean the loan is attached to an individual. It reports under the business, but they are always going to require a personal guarantor, unless your company is making 25 to 50 million a year or you're publicly traded on the stock market. Another thing that you'll commonly hear is they promise to get you money or you get your money back, essentially taking in your resources on the promise that there's money to come. You cannot, and there is no legitimate way to guarantee that you can get any amount of funding. That is not a decision that that organization or company can make. That is a decision made by an underwriter and by a bank. So clearing the air about these misconceptions is important. The reality in credit is there is no magic bullet, and there is no way to guarantee funding. So anyone who tells you otherwise, I would take that with a grain of salt.
So Michael, it's in your office and your direct staff that works mostly with the early stages of applying on behalf of companies and speaking directly with the personal guarantors of the various clients that we've got. So why don't you jump in for a moment and help explain what the definition of a personal guarantor is?
Thank you, Brad. The short version, and you'll hear this a lot, of what a personal guarantor is. Sometimes a personal guarantor is also called a PG. That's not a reference to a movie. Basically, that's short for the person who is guaranteeing that they will be accountable for a loan. And it's an individual who vouches for capital, which is borrowed by a business entity. An individual must be accountable for the credit that's extended to a business until a business meets the bank requirements. There are no way for a bank to extend credit to a business solely under the EIN of the corporation until they exceed a financial and or substantial threshold. 99.9% of the time, they're going to require that an individual signs for that money. Now, that does not necessarily mean that the loan is attached to that person. The loan is still in the business name, but they are always going to audit and or reference an individual that is behind the business to validate, audit, do their due diligence to see how credible that person is. In other words, the bank is not going to loan your business money until they look at the person behind the company and see how responsible they are. It's just like you wouldn't give an 18-year-old child a $25,000 credit card. you need to establish some credibility first. The bank is using that underwriting criteria before they make a banking decision. Lenders typically require business to prove financials by submitting audited financials showing that you're making at least a certain threshold. And along those lines, there are three things that banks are going to look for, which you should in on right now, along with personal guarantee. There are three things that contribute to your overall fundability: your business credit profile, your personal credit, and your revenue. So now that we've talked a little bit about what business credit is and what the focus is and some of the benefits, it's important to understand who generates that score. Who's telling a business that they're creditworthy or they're not? First and foremost, to understand that system, you're going to hear a point as a frame of reference. You're going to hear a lot about Dun & Bradstreet. Now, they issue you a score called a PAYDEX. Now, Dun & Bradstreet is a profiling system which creates a score, but this is not actually a business credit rating. It's more of a data aggregator for the sake of validating a business to say if they're legitimate or not. Now, a lot of banks, lenders, and companies will pull this data, but contrary to popular belief, this is not actually a business credit rating. Business credit is actually generated by two of the major bureaus, Experian and Equifax. And your business credit rating is automatically generated once you've established the correct ratio of accounts. So just not to be confused, Dun & Bradstreet, not business credit, but a profiling system. Still a very important and essential part of the process, but your actual credit rating, Experian and Equifax. And those are the ones you want to focus on, establishing the right ratios, the right number of cards, the right methodology of reporting, so that when you go to a bank, you have a solid track record. And that's the business credit bureaus.
Thanks, Mike. So let's discuss now how your business and personal credit work together. So at Credit DMS, we have an analogy that we like to use often, that your personal credit and your business credit function very similarly to the wings of an aircraft, where obviously without one or the other, the aircraft wouldn't fly very well. What we seek to do is to take the absolute best snapshot of both your personal credit and your business credit profile when submitting applications on your behalf to the network of commercial lenders that we work with. So having good personal and business credit profiles position you to have the most optimal success rate in becoming approved for the financing that you're seeking. So as the guidelines change and the paradigms of the industry shift a little bit, you'll understand that our whole business model is based on the current market research. So we're researching daily the balance sheets of the lenders that we work with, their different lending trends, whether they're extending more credit to a particular industry or perhaps retracting on another. And we'll want to make sure that your PG is well positioned to do our best to guarantee the funding. And don't worry, if your personal guarantor doesn't have the most appealing personal credit right now, well, those are areas where we can assist as well.
Whether or not you decide to use our services, whether or not you decide to give us a call for consultation, the best thing that we can give to you is information. Whatever will help you be more successful in business is our primary motivation. So here's some advice on business credit. Your business credit score improves when timely payments are made, and you're not penalized for the utilization of your business credit the same way you would with a FICO. When you're initially setting up a business credit profile, you set it up with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Dun & Bradstreet is a fantastic organization. We work with them all the time. However, they do have pretty aggressive marketing, and they will encourage you to set up a paid program with them whereby they'll report your business credit information using their system. It is not necessary to set that up for their reporting. You do with D&B have the ability to set up your own profile at no cost. And again, part of our program will show you how to do that. Another big thing is do not apply for business credit lines without first reviewing your personal credit. Cannot emphasize this enough. So many approvals turn into denials because of too many inquiries, high limits, high balances. Now, again, just because you're applying for a loan in your business, and it will be written in your business, they are still always going to require a human being to be behind that and attached to it. So they always are going to look at the human being. So before you go and apply for a bank loan of any sort or even credit, just remember that you need to review your personal credit first. That is the number one issue that will kill you.
So in addition to the pointers that Michael offered regarding business credit, I also wanted to add to that some advice regarding your personal credit. If we haven't driven the point home by now, your business credit and your personal credit dovetail together in such an important fashion when you're out there applying for business credit lines and such. So here are some pointers, some free advice that we can bring to you regarding your personal credit and really how to fortify that personal FICO score. First and foremost, you'll want to keep your credit line balances under that 30% ratio. So what that means basically is your balance to credit ratio, as a bank underwriter would term it, or to us, just as the layman walking around. Let's say you have a $10,000 credit line, you'd want to keep your active balance below $3,000. Also, contrary to popular belief, closing your older accounts is not always a good thing. So if you've got accounts that have long history on your credit profile and they're in good standing, it's actually in your benefit to keep those accounts open as long as you can. It shows good, strong credit history and long-term relationships with your existing bankers. However, credit that you don't use doesn't actually add benefit to your FICO score. So regarding those older credit lines, if you don't actually have some activity running through those credit lines, an occasional tank of gas, maybe a trip to the grocery store, those credit lines won't necessarily add points to that FICO score and can possibly allow your FICO score to kind of plateau if you're not actively using your credit. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, you don't want to over-apply for credit. At Credit DMS, we term this the shotgunning approach, where someone is so eager to obtain new credit lines, you would go out and say, apply for 5 or 6 separate credit lines in a given afternoon. Too many inquiries will absolutely damage your chances of approval. So keep that in mind when you're on the hunt for building your personal credit.
So one of the things that we hear at Credit DMS on a semi-frequent basis in the industry is a lot of people always say, why do we need you? We can do a lot of this on our own. While technically that is true, I would liken what we do to that of a mortgage broker to buy a home, or if you were sued in court, you definitely have the ability to represent yourself in a court of law, but that might not be the best idea. You'd probably want to hire a lawyer. In the same respect, we're a professional service provider and you're paying for expertise. A lot of business owners would like to go out and try and do what we do on their own. But here are some facts. The great majority of business loan applications are denied. And more than half of those are due to controllable factors that we help prepare on our side, such as personal credit issues, compliance issues with the corporation, and an overall lack of preparation and failure to understand how credit works. It is extremely important to understand how these things work before you go in. Packaging for a lender is extremely important, and preparing your personal credit, making sure you don't have too many inquiries, making sure that your ratios are not out of whack. These are all things that factor in. You do not want to do this on your own.
Well, great points, Michael. I think we should talk a little bit about the historical trends of commercial lenders here as well. I mean, back in 2005, if you recall, banks were looking to attract new business customers. And now it seems like banks are looking for reasons to deny loan applications, particularly in the small and relatively new business climate. So there are a few things that you probably should understand about your approach to obtaining capital for your company. Well, if you're like the majority of business owners out there, just like Michael and I were before we started our first entrepreneurial endeavors, well, you probably don't know what banks to approach. Moreover, you don't know what type of credit is best for you. And most importantly, you don't know which banks are going to report favorably to build on your business credit profile. And frankly, chances are you simply don't know what you don't know. So folks, we suggest that you simply leave nothing to chance. And honestly, because you are introduced to our operation, you don't have to. See, many banks are backed by the same investors. So what that means, if you were to submit an application to one particular bank, your profile might actually be populated across multiple banks' underwriting platforms. Thus, one simple mistake can make the difference between an approval and a denial at more than one institution. So just don't leave something as important to building on your business credit and obtaining the financing it may need, or perhaps buying a home or improving your personal credit to chance.
Not to digress on why we're so amazing, but we are, and the reason is because of our expertise. We're experts in all things credit. The company was originally founded by experts in business credit who had extensive experience reviewing all kinds of credit apps, credit profiles, and understanding what that needs to look like on the underwriting and lending side. So all of that experience from the mortgage, from auto, from business lending, all the way to personal credit has helped us develop a robust program. Now, our director of business funding has been in the business of over 30 years in commercial finance and credit. He was a professor at the American Institute of Banking, both in New York and San Francisco. And we've built a company on the mantra that the truth is good enough. What really sets us apart and what really makes us the experts in this field is the fact that you're going to come to us and we're going to give you real answers. We're going to be very direct, and we're going to give you real solutions. We're not going to tell you something that we can't do, and we're not going to advise you to do something that you can't actually accomplish. So our goal and what sets us apart is to be honest and to give you real results based on our expertise. So why choose Credit DMS? Why would you hire someone to help you navigate through your personal credit optimization, through building business credit, through getting funding? Well, for us specifically, we are America's credit experts. We have years of experience in working with banks and understanding credit and underwriting protocol. We're experts in optimizing your personal credit, from removing negative items to helping build positive reporting credit in as quickly as 4 to 6 months. So the goal is to get someone on your side who wants to help and knows how to help. Motivation's not enough. You have to have the skill set to back it up. And that's why we're a great strategic partner for you and your small business. So here's how it works. We provide every entrepreneur or business owner with a one-on-one consultation. We do that when we interview you to see if you're a good fit for our program or if we can even help you, if there's something we can do for you. And once you graduate to actually being a client, we're focused on your company's specific needs. Our goal is to provide credit or funding for your growth goals, and also we'll work with your business for up to 12 months. So we're in your back pocket as a resource now and for an entire year. So as your business grows, as your revenue increases, as you get more contracts in, as you get more clients, you can come back to us and ask us for additional help and resources. If you have some credit challenges in 6 months, you can come back to us and we'll help assist getting you taken care of and buttoned up so that you can still continue to be productive in the credit and finance world. This is all done on a one-on-one basis. We pair you up with an advisor and they walk you step by step through each part of the program.
Okay, so in just a few moments, we'll show you a web address that will take you to a dedicated consultation page that looks just like this. It's on this page where you'll input your company's contact information, so we'll have a dedicated, certified consultant reach out to you to begin the process. So looking at the top of this form, you'll find the very common contact field information. Each of these that have an asterisk are those that are the required fields that we would like you to complete so that we can best reach out to you. If you look at the bottom of the form in this section, the notes field, this is where you'll have an opportunity to add any additional information you believe is important for our consultants to know before they reach out to you. And then we can customize a program that is fit specifically for your business. So this is where it all begins. If you'll reference affiliates.creditdms.com/mycorporation.php, you'll find the form that we've just shown you. Simply input the information there and click on the Submit button toward the bottom of the page so that we can have one of our dedicated representatives reach out to you to begin the process.
So thank you for joining us today. We hope that the information that we've shared with you helps get you motivated and excited to move forward on getting capital for your business. Now, you can reach us in one of two ways. You can call us at our 800 number, 888-261-6575, or you can email us at support@creditDMS.com. Or you can find us on the web at www.creditDMS.com. However you decide to reach us, we definitely look forward to working with you and helping you grow your business.